News Radio 840 WHAS coming up on today's Louisville Real Estate Show. So what are those fruit flies doing in your kitchen and what can you do about it? Also, Mary has a problem with her sister and the house they're buying together. And how about those fish smells throughout your house? Is there anything you can do about those smells? Finally, we'll also talk about, are you ready for cold weather? It's coming, and we've got some maintenance tips for all homeowners. Hi, everybody. Bob Sokoler, the owner of the Sokoler team, Remax Properties East. Thank you for joining us. We've got a great group of people here joining us until the top of the hour. Among them, Cora Henderson, who is one of the head honchos over at Pitt and Frank Attorneys. They do a really good job of getting your loan closed, and that's very important these days. You can reach Cora and her team at 895-9900. Also here with us, Brad Lawler. He is the owner of Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out. He'll be able to answer a bunch of those questions we posed at the top of the show. You can reach Brad and the team at 844-411-TEAM. And I'm Bob Sokoler, as I said. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the near future, even buying, well, we can help you. Call me and I will come out. We'll talk about the process of selling, come up with a plan, including some staging ideas. It's free, no obligation, and we'll go from there. You can reach me anytime on my cell phone at 376-5483, or you can go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, and hit submit. And if you want a free instant analysis via computer, you just simply go to WeSellLouisville.com, click on the top, and fill out the information, and our computer system will get right back to you with exactly what your home is worth. All right, so folks, let's get rolling here. Let's start with Cora over at Pitt and Frank. Lisa sent us an email. She's a first-time home owner who's going to rent her house. She's wondering, in addition to a lease, she's going to require a security deposit, I guess in first and last month rent she's writing, but she's wondering, does she have to create a new bank account for the security deposit and for the last month's rent and the first month's rent? Does it stay separate, or can she combine it with her existing bank accounts? Cora.
Hi, Lisa. Well, this sounds like a great opportunity for you to retain that property as investment and get it rented out. And certainly you can see that as a trend, now more than ever, since real estate has helped so many people kind of create that generational wealth. So kudos on that. As for your lease and keeping those accounts separate, I would recommend that you have a separate account as opposed to commingling those funds. There's a number of different reasons that would support that. But again, better safe than sorry. I would absolutely keep a separate account. I love that you're collecting first and last month's rent. There's a security deposit, very standard. Also, I would just encourage you to make sure that you have a good, solid lease agreement in place. So happy to review that for you, or seek out the counsel of another qualified landlord-tenant attorney, so that you can make sure that whatever template, whatever lease that you're using, it sounds like it may be a long-term renter, but is something that you're comfortable with because you could be in it for a while. So understanding your rights as landlord, and that you have a good form and good working knowledge on how to be a good landlord in the state of Kentucky will be instrumental, and we'd be glad to help you. Good luck, Lisa.
And good luck on that. Don't go to the internet and pull a form, because that could be a real problem, right, Cora?
That's correct. Absolutely. Yeah. Not only is AI not licensed to practice law, but also a lot of those national websites and what have you, they'll just talk in generalities. And so it's got to be state law specific. So if your real property is here in Kentucky, we want to make sure that we're using Kentucky's laws to govern that.
All right. Very good. Thank you very much on that one. Lisa, good luck. We move over to Brad Lawler, Home Team Inspection Service. Shep emailed us to say that he listens to our show all the time. Thank you, Shep, and all of you who listen to us. And he heard us talk about a couple of weeks ago about flies. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now he says his kitchen is full of gnats. Yeah. But he cannot figure out where they're coming from. He wants to know what our thoughts are. What should he do? Brett?
Well, this is the time of year that we're starting to see a lot more of those. A lot of people call them fruit flies. There are gnats, not to be confused with fungus gnats, which I'll talk about that in just a second. But if it is fruit flies, and these are small flies, they oftentimes have red eyes. They have little humpbacks on them. Those are typically found near a garbage can. They'll be found near produce that you might have sitting out on counters. There's a lot of apples that are out on countertops right now. A lot of squashes, pumpkins, all of those things will attract any of those vegetables and fruits that are starting to decay, break down. Maybe you got an apple with a brown spot on it. Those things will draw in those flies, and that's where we're seeing a lot of them. We're also seeing a lot of floor drains that have dried out, and that's allowing some of these gnats and small flies into the house. The drain flies, if you see the fuzzy looking ones, those are oftentimes a drain fly, and those are coming up oftentimes through those empty floor drains. So that the fix there is just put some water in those floor drains to seal them back up. You might also be smelling some sewer gases. That'll take care of two problems at once. For fruit flies, if the best thing to do is keep your produce off the counter, keep in the refrigerator, garbage cans covered, or, if you put vegetable pieces, fruit pieces in there, just take the trash out because those will accumulate the flies. Beyond that, there's a lot of old fashioned remedies that work. I mean, some people swear that a little bit, stale beer in the bottom of a bottle left on the counter will draw the flies in. Old wine bottles will do the same thing. A little bit of apple cider vinegar and a drop of dish soap in a little dish works. I know a lot of people are using those new Zevo plug-in lights. Those seem to be working pretty well. They like a night light, and they've got a little sticky trap that's there. Those have proven effective. And if you just can't control it, then get a hold of a pest control company. We've got a lot of different products that we can put into drains and garbage disposals and other lines that will basically flush those critters out, and they'll stop plaguing you.
Just FYI, an update on Zevo, which I mentioned a month or so ago that I bought, got it from Amazon, and there are two. They're not cheap. There's two of them that come in the pack, and there was $35 or $36 plus shipping. Yeah. So I would tell you, I looked at them and turned them over this past week, and there are different little bugs in there. So it's because it's got some sort of sticky stuff on them.
Right.
So they work, but they're costly, so just keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, they're more expensive than vinegar, but they seem to be pretty effective.
Yeah. And do you have to replace any type of filter in there after the stickiness kind of wears out with all the bugs?
I got to think the answer to that is yes. Now, do they sell the replacement traps? I have to think they do. I don't know. I'll take a look on that and report
I'm just impressed.
Back.
Brad has actually looked at a gnat eye to eye and knows that its eyes is red. So that's a new one. And the humpback. I mean, meticulous description.
I don't know how you do that, but gotcha.
Study, research constantly.
A reminder, you can see a rebroadcast of today's show. Simply go to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's a redirect to our YouTube channel, LouisvilleAnswers.com. Also, a reminder that if you're going to buy any service, going to have anybody work for you, do anything, you want to check their reviews. We are very proud of our reviews. Go to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com. Those two are redirects to our reviews. All right. Back over to Cora Henderson over at Pitt and Frank Attorneys. Tessa read a report in a newspaper that California insurance providers are leaving the state. Apparently, same thing's true in Florida. And she's wondering in this email, has anyone, I guess, among us experienced a problem here in Louisville and southern Indiana? She's getting ready to buy her first home, not being able to get home insurance for their home. Cora, have you seen any or heard of any problems at the closing table?
Absolutely, we have. So, Tessa, you're right on point there. There have been some carriers that have left the state. And, you should know, obviously, that Louisville and many other areas throughout the state, have suffered from a lot of wind damage, hail damage, storm damage, et cetera, especially over the last number of years. So even though we're not a coastal state by any means, we do have our fair share of damage there. And so, when they pay out on those claims, obviously, as a result of that, they're going to need to make sure that they have enough in the till, on collecting an appropriate amount for their insurance. Also, just the cost of rebuilding is bananas these days, right? The construction costs. And so just kind of understanding, I think, moving forward, the best way to have those discussions with your qualified insurance agent, are they able to shop that out with multiple carriers? Are you able to adjust your payout for rebuild? Do you understand whether or not you're getting a full roof replacement, or is it just capped out at a certain amount of money? So there's a number of different questions that I think are very important whenever you're buying a home or certainly renewing, if you've been in the home for a long time, usually on an annual basis there, and having those discussions with your qualified professionals. As far as the uninsurability, I'm not seeing that. There's always somebody that's going to insure it, but I don't know that it's going to be the price that you've been accustomed to or that you would love to pay. So, if homeowners insurance for a regular single family dwelling becomes too much, I will tell you that condo insurance is always super cheap. Like I see that at the closing table, and especially because you're just insuring from the walls in, because it's a a condo, those are always super affordable, a couple $100, which is, far more palatable than the thousands of dollars that we see some people having to, pay out on an annual basis for their single family dwelling. So lots of different options there. Just being educated to have those conversations is going to be fruitful for you.
Yeah, and a note, renter's insurance also is relatively inexpensive. So if you're renting, that would be something to consider if you don't have insurance on the property, because bad weather is coming. And let's face it, we got to be prepared. In fact, next week, we're going to be talking about what happens if you have a power outage. Are you prepared? And that's a reminder also that we've got some home maintenance checklists coming up in this show. We talked a few minutes ago about Zevo, and I went online while you were talking, Cora and Brad, and I checked. There are refills available in Amazon. And this is a shameless plug for Amazon, but they've got them. The Zevo brand, you can get 4 for $13.50 plus shipping. But you can also buy compatible with Zevo. For example, there's one with 12 replacement flying traps for about $19. So there you go. Good information, hopefully, and we'll see how we go from there. And I'll keep you posted on how Zevo is doing with bugs in the house flying around. It's amazing this time of year. All right, before we take a break, David sent us this email. He says, help. He says his house smells like fish, but he hasn't cooked fish in the house for weeks. He's wondering what could the fish smell be coming from. Mold is one of those things he's worried about. Anything else that comes to mind in your mind that smells like fish throughout a house?
Fish throughout a house. I mean, I'm going to have to assume that we're going to need to start at the HVAC system. Now, a lot of times during these seasonal switchovers where you start, you've got a little bit of cold weather that we went through, the heaters came on, you've got things that are burning out. So there are some different smells that are coming there. Also, I would definitely, take a look at the filter in the HVAC system just to make sure that nothing's gotten wet there. Some of those kind of damp, fishy, musty smells too may be an indication of a leak. Check the roof, check anything that might have started to bring water into the house. But yeah, if they're smelling it throughout the house, it's something likely that the HVAC system is picking up and spreading throughout the house.
And David and folks listening, it may not smell to you like fish and maybe some other unusual smell, but if you're smelling something, you want to at least investigate it. And that is something I would definitely jump on immediately. And I'm wondering, what does a gas leak smell like? There's an odor.
So gas leak smells like rotten eggs.
Okay.
It's a sulfur product that they put in. The other weird smell that people are getting right now too are mice that are dying in the walls, and those things will smell for about 3 days. There's definitely that decaying body smell. It's pretty intense, but the mouse will dry out pretty quickly and the smell will go away. But if it lasts more than 3 days, it probably wasn't a critter in the wall.
Oh, okay. That's good information to know. You can see what sellers are actually saying about us. I've got interviews from the closing table. Go to LouisvilleSellersTalk.com, and we're going to take a break. When we come back, are you ready for the potential cold weather and what's coming our way? We'll talk more about that. Continuing with us, Cora Henderson, who is one of the head honchos at Pitt & Frank Attorneys, LLC. They do a great job of getting your loan closed. We love them, and we're over there all the time with closings. You can reach Cora and her group at 895-9900. Also, Brad Lawler, who's owner of Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out. If you need an inspection or you need to have the services of a exterminator, that's what Team Bug Out's all about. You can reach Brad and the team at 844-411-TEAM. And if you're thinking of selling your home or even buying, I'd love to be able to help you. Call me. I'll come out. It's me. And we talk about the process. It's a free, no obligation time. I'll spend as much as you need talking and answering your questions and come up with a plan for possibly getting you moving on to the next level in your house, in your life, and selling your house. You can reach me 376-5483 or go to bobsellslouisville.com. And for an instant analysis of what your house is worth, go to WeSellLouisville.com, fill out the form and submit, and a computer will actually send you the estimated value of your home almost instantly. We're back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show. We are here with you till the top of the hour. Got a lot of your questions. And in just a moment, are you ready for the cold weather? We've got some home maintenance checklists items that Brad will help us with and go through for you rather quickly. Continuing with us, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out. And you can reach Brad and the team whether you want your home inspected, whether it's a new purchase or you want to get ready to sell your home. It'd be a great idea to have a pre-inspection. You can reach Brad at 844-411-TEAM. If you're buying a home, you can choose the closing attorney that you want. Absolutely. And I cannot recommend highly enough Pitt and Frank Attorneys, LLC. They do a great job getting your loan closed. Very thorough, and that's what you want. You can reach Cora and her group at 895-9900. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the near future, we would love to be able to help you. I own a team, but it's me when I come out. We talk about selling and getting your home listed. I'll talk as long as you want. I love real estate. And also, no home too big, no home too small. It's a free, no obligation meeting. So, hey, take advantage of it. You can reach me at 376-5483 or go to bobsellslouisville.com and fill out the form, hit submit. And if you want an instant analysis of what your home is worth right now, you can go to WeSellLouisville.com and look at the top of the page and just click on it and fill that out. You'll get a computerized analysis immediately. So, are we ready for cold weather? I know a lot of people are not, and that's why we're bringing in a checklist for you that might be able to help you. So, Brad, let's start.
Yeah.
I'll give you the topic maybe, and you just give us a one line on each thing.
All right.
So, on the exterior of your home, clean the gutters and downspouts.
Yes, and not just today, but do them again in early December after the leaves have all fallen from the trees.
Yeah. Check windows and doors for cracks and apply caulk?
Put caulk around them. Yep. And weather seals, the little strips underneath the bottom of the window sash can be replaced very easily and inexpensively. So do that too.
Fertilize your lawn, fertilize and trim shrubs and trees. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, and don't forget to fertilize those shrubs as well. You need a 10-10-10 fertilizer now for the fall going into for the bushes.
That's a good point. Don't overdo it either because you could really do some harm. Check your dryer vent. Clean if necessary, right?
Yep. Just regular maintenance on that a couple times a year. Now is a great time to clean that. Check that pipe. Make sure that the outer flap seals down tight to keep the varmints out.
Inspect the roof, the attic, the crawl space for any signs of moisture. Remove outdoor hoses and insulate outdoor pipes and indoor pipes that are up against the outside, right?
Yes, and if you have the ability to shut the water valve off on the inside of the house to those spigots, do that, cut it off inside, and then open the valve outside to make sure that the spigot is completely drained. Put your hoses away, run the water out of them, push them down the driveway, whatever. Get those drains stored inside is best if you can do it.
Replace any light bulbs that are out, of course. Inside, check the smoke detectors and fire extinguishers, repair any loose or damaged window door frames. Inspect the furnace. What can a consumer do for inspecting their furnace?
Really, probably the only thing that I would, suggest that they have an HVAC technician, servicing the system twice a year anyway from a preventative standpoint. But if you have a system like I do, I've got a whole house humidifier, so I have a summer setting and a winter setting. Make sure that it's set correctly there. Change your filter.
Right. Important. And then make sure, we mentioned this briefly, but from the inside, check plumbing to make sure any pipes that are attached to an outside or next to an outside wall are insulated to keep them from freezing it. And finally, the chimneys, the time if you're going to use a fireplace and you have a fireplace, time to clean.
They say, if you do a lot of burning of wood, you definitely want to check that every year. I think the rule of thumb is about 70 fires in there require you to have it cleaned. You can look up inside, take a flashlight, and if you look up through the stack, the flue, if you see anything that's shiny on the inside, that is a buildup of creosote, and you definitely want to make sure you've got a professional chimney sweep come in and service that. That's not a do-it-yourself job.
And if you see anything moving, definitely want a chimney sweep.
Listen first before you open that damper because something may come out of there.
That could be a problem. Yeah. All right, we move back over to Cora Henderson over at Pitt and Frank Attorneys LLC. Mary and her sister Cora bought a house together, and in the email she sent us, she says now her sister is saying that Mary cannot have her ex-boyfriend live with them. She said, we never talked about this prior to buying the house. There was no agreement about boyfriends moving in. And Mary said she's feeling like her sister is jealous, just wants to make Mary's life miserable. She's wondering, are there any legal resources or recourses that she can take with this? Cora?
If she's an owner, she has a say. And so whether it's, hey, I don't want your friend or boyfriend or, roommate or whoever, to come into the home or visit the home or even move into the home. Or maybe it's, this isn't going to work. If you all want to live here, that's fine, but I'm out. And if they don't agree on selling or who gets paid back first, this is often a common theme for disputes amongst cohabitants. So, always a good to be aware of, one, how you're taking title to the property. So does somebody actually have more of an interest than the other? Do they own in survivorship versus tenants in common? Those are all good conversations. And then two, is it, would it be helpful? Is it appropriate to have what's called a cohabitation agreement in place, which is basically a prenup for a house prior to buying it? And that way it'll address concerns like, hey, who gets paid back out of the proceeds if we sell the home first? Maybe one person, is making all the mortgage payments and paying all the taxes or made significant improvements, and they should get paid back first. Also, what happens in the event of a dispute? What if one person wants to sell and the other does not? What does that kind of buyout provision look like? What happens upon it, death? And there's just so many questions that we need to understand if we're cohabitants with someone on the title to a home. But, circling back around here for Mary, certainly she's an owner. She does have a say. And so, the sister may not want to admit it, but, Mary can put her foot down on that one.
If you are thinking about selling your home now or in the future, we have a free no obligation booklet that has hundreds of useful tips. Actually, we have a couple of them, and we can send them out to you, a copy of them free via email. Send me an email, bob@wesellouisville.com. Put selling tips in the subject line. I'll send that out to you. And on that same note, if you're thinking about selling and you're thinking about a home inspection, what's that all about? Well, our friends over at Home Team have put together a report on what to expect during a home inspection. Again, send me an email, bob@wesellouisville.com. Put the word inspection in the subject line, and we will send that out to you immediately. Speaking of Brad, here's a question from Linda for you, Brad Lawler, who writes in. She says she's had a home inspection on the home she's selling, and the inspector wrote up cosmetic things like chips in a bathtub. So she's wondering, are you supposed to write those things up? Are some home inspectors a little too zealous in what they're sending the buyer as a report, Brad?
So cosmetic items are outside our standards of practice. So all home inspectors in Kentucky and in Indiana are licensed. We have to follow one of two standards. We have to follow either the American Society of Home Inspectors, the ASHI standards, like my company does, or the InterNACHI standards. Truth be told, they're nearly identical. But in both of them, we are looking for the functionality of systems. We are looking for what they call material defects. And those are things that are going to cost $1,000 or more to fix. We're looking for safety items. So cosmetic items like, chips in a bathtub surface, worn out carpet, nail pops, in a wall. Those are all considered cosmetic items. We, as a home inspector, we shouldn't be writing those up because it's outside of our standards. Now, oftentimes agents want things done. An agent, of course, as far as a repair request goes, they can make any request that they want. And so I know that, a lot of agents use our Home Team report, and they'll add things like there's an agreement upon, having hardwood floors refinished or having, carpets replaced. While that's not part of the home inspection, it would be considered cosmetic. The agent may have added those things because they want those items repaired. And it may be that chip bathtub was something that was put in there by the agent. If the home inspector put in there, I don't know why they would, be writing up a cosmetic item, but I have seen cosmetic items go on repair request lists that the home inspector didn't actually, put in there. That was the request of the agent and the buyers.
And Cora, can again, from a real estate point, the seller can ignore any of the requested items, and then if it's something of structural or safety, the buyer could back out and they get their good faith money back. But Cora, if it's something cosmetic in a repair request and the seller doesn't want to do it, can the buyer still get back out and get their good faith money back since it's something that's not necessarily germane to a repair request?
It depends. If they reserve their right, under 10B2 for at least the GLAR residential sales contract that, most of our board members will be utilizing there, and you're within that first line of 10B2, then yes, they could, because you can terminate for any reason whatsoever. You're given that first out, that first look, if you will. But beyond that, of course, that's a different conversation if you don't have that right to terminate reserved appropriately as a contingency. But largely, I think most of us are trained not to ask for those, minor cosmetic defects. Really, the repair requests are reserved for safety issues, just like Brad was talking about, real deficiencies with the home, material defects, things of that nature.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. But remember, you turn anything down and the buyer can walk away, and they can still walk away even if they don't submit a request, which is just a little unusual. We need to change that, I think, in my mind. Right. We're out of time. My thanks to Cora Henderson, Pitt and Frank Attorneys, LLC. They do a great job of getting your loan closed. Very thorough, accurate. You want to reach out to Cora and her team at 895-9900. If you're thinking of selling your home, you might want a pre-inspection, or if you're buying a home, I can highly recommend Home Team Inspection Service. And if you're got a problem with maybe some gnats or flies or anything of that nature, you can call Brad as well for team bug outs services. You can reach them, both of those services, at 844-411-TEAM. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the future, I would love to help you. No home too big, no home too small. All you need to do is give me a call. Oh, that almost rhymes, and got to make a commercial out of that. Anyway, you can give me a call at 376-5483. It's free, no obligation, or go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form. And if you want to complete computer analysis almost immediately, free of charge, go to WeSellLouisville.com, go to the top of the page, fill out the info, and you will get a report immediately. Folks, thank you for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Y'all have a blessed Sunday.
Yep, you too. Thanks, Brad. Be good. Take care, everybody. See you next Sunday right here on News Radio 840 WHAS.